Assalamualaikum and a very good day to our lecturer, Madam Shaharia. And for today, we would like to present our group project using the data from frozen fruit file. For question 1, we already gathered all the data and transfer it into Microsoft Excel. All the data are denoted as unit sales or quantity demanded as QX, price as PX, advertising expenditure as A, competitors' price as PY, income as M, and population as N. From our data, we can derive demand equation as QX equal to F, PX, A, PY, M, and N. And from this equation, we can have 5 types of relationship. Relationship between QX and PX, the relationship between QX and A, the relationship between QX and PY, the relationship between QX and M, and the last one is the relationship between QX and N. We're moving on to question 3. The scatter plot shows the relationship between price versus quantity demand. Based on the graph, there is a slightly negative linear relationship between units sold and price. The relationship shown is as theoretically expected. This indicates that as price increases, units sold will decrease. It can be inferred that this happens according to the law of demand. The law of demand states that even there is an increase in the price, the quantity demanded will decrease, and vice versa. The scatter plot shows the relationship between advertising expenditure versus quantity demand. Based on the graph, there is a slightly positive linear relationship between units sold and advertising expenditure. The relationship shown is as theoretically expected. This indicates that as an advertising expenditure increases, quantity sold will also increase. It can be inferred that as an advertising expenditure increases, more people can be reached and convinced to buy the frozen fruit pie. This scatter plot shows the relationship between income versus quantity demand. Based on the graph, there is a positive linear relationship between units sold and income. The relationship shown is as theoretically expected. This indicates that as income increases, quantity sold will also increase. As consumers' income increase, their purchasing power increase. Hence, they are able to purchase in larger quantities and more people will be able to purchase frozen fruit pie. Based on this scatter plot, it shows the relationship between competitors' price versus quantity demand. Based on the graph, there is a slightly negative linear relationship between units sold and competitors' price. The relationship shows is not as theoretically expected. This is against the substitution effect. Under substitution effect, as competitors' price increases, units sold will also increase. It can be inferred that it happens because they are substitute good. As competitors' price increase and fall out of consumers' favor, consumers start to buy less of the competitors' product and tend to buy more of their product substitute like frozen fruit pie. This scatter plot shows the relationship between population versus quantity demanded. Based on the graph, there is a slightly positive linear relationship between units sold and population. The relationship shown is theoretically expected. This indicates that as population increases, units sold will also increase. As population increases, the prospectus for a good also increases. This results to more people buying frozen fruit pie.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurhalis Sohana binti Muhammad. For question 4, this is the summary output of the multivariate linear regression analysis that we have conducted using our product dataset. This is the ANOVA table, where it shows the coefficient value for the intercept and for the independent variables. And this is the residual output of our product. Question 5. This is the demand equation of our product. Based on the regression output, we use the coefficient value and substitute it into the demand function. And from that, we can see that the sign in the equation is consistent with the trend line produced in question 3. Question 6. Based on the value of variable x in the first row of our data set, we use the value of advertising expenditure, competitors' price, income, and population. Then we substitute it into the demand equation to derive the demand curve function. And our demand curve function is 50286.9225 minus 3833.00 px. And for the inverse demand curve function, we get 13.1195 minus qx over 3833.00.
Okay, for question number 7, I'll be explaining how we get the inverse demand curve. You can get inverse demand curve by applying the unit sales value into the demand curve functions that we get from question number 6. We apply the unit sales value on each of them, on each 24 variables, get the price on each 24 observations, not variables, and then we can get the inverse demand curve. Okay, for question 8, in our case we have 5 independent variables, which are price, advertisement, competitors' price, income, and population. Each of these variables have their own coefficient values, which indicates the strength of the relationship between the variables. The higher the coefficient values means that the coefficient has stronger effect on the quantity demanded. If the coefficient is near 0, which means there is a little effect to the regression line. Okay, take for the first variable, the coefficient of the price, which is negative 3833. If price increased by RM1, then the amount of unit sales on frozen fruit pie will decrease by 3833 units while holding the other variable constants. This means that the coefficient values of price negatively impact the quantity demanded. Okay, for the second one, the advertisements has coefficient value of 0.0014. If advertisement increased by RM1, then the quantity of frozen fruit pies demanded will increase by 0.0014 units while holding the other variable constant. For advertisement, the coefficient values has little effect on the regression line because it's near to 0. Alright, for B3, which is equals to 3651.39, if competitors' price increased by RM1, then the amount of unit sales on frozen fruit pie will increase by 3651.39 units while holding the other variables constant. For the case of competitors' price, it has the largest coefficient values, which indicates that it has the most impact on the quantity demanded curve. Alright, for B4, which is equals to 1.06, if income increased by RM1, then the amount of unit sales on frozen fruit pie will increase by 1.06 units while holding the variables constant. And for the last one, B5 equals to 0.065, if population increased by RM1, then the amount of unit sales on frozen fruit pie will increase by 0.065 units while holding the other variable constant. So I think that the most impactful coefficient values are the B3 on the competitor's price, and the least amount of least impactful is the price, which has negative 3,833 coefficient values, which negatively impact the quantity demand curve.
Assalamualaikum to all. My name is Anis Shahira binti Mir Azham, and I will continue to explaining the last question, which is question 9. First, we start with question 9a. As you can see, we already have the value of Px, A, Py, M, and also N. So to get the estimate demand value, we just have to substitute the value that we have into the demand equation, which is Qx equal to negative 24634.79 minus 3833.00 times substitute the value of Px, which is 5.5, plus 0.0014 times substitute value of A, which is 10,000, plus 3651.39 times value of Py, which is 3.75, plus 0.06 times value of M, which is 41,500, plus 0.0065 times value of N, which is 2,650,000, and you will get the answer equal to 29205 times 4225 units. Next, question 9b. The question asks to determine the value of price, cost, and income elasticity. So first, price elasticity. Based on the demand equation that we derived before, we can know the value of dqx over dpx, which is negative 3833.00, and our px is 5.5. So when we substitute the value into the formula of price elasticity, which is dqx over dp times p over qx, we will get the answer of negative 0.722. Next, move on to income elasticity. The dqx over dm is 1.06 based on the demand equation above, and the value of m is 41,500. And then substitute the value into the formula of income elasticity, which is dqx over dm times m over q, then you will get 1.506. Next is cross elasticity. So the dqx over dpy is 3651.390 from the demand equation, and py is 3.75. Then substitute the value into the formula of cross elasticity, which is dqx over dpy times py over qx, and the answer is 0.469. And lastly is advertising elasticity. As usual, we can get the value of dqx over dA from the demand equation, which is 0.0014, and value of A is 10,000. Then substitute into the formula of advertising elasticity, which is dqx over dA times A over qx, and the answer is 0.000479. Next, question 9c. I will be interpreting each elasticity values and also explain how each of these elasticity is important to our business. First, price elasticity. Based on the previous question, we already know the values of price elasticity, which is 0.722, and this value is less than 0. When price elasticity of demand is less than 0, demand is inelastic. This can be interpreted as consumers being insensitive to changes in price will lead to a drop in quantity demanded of less than 1%. So this is important to us because we can raise our prices, as we know that we can sell our products for a higher price without losing so much sales. Second, income elasticity. Based on previous question, our income elasticity is 1.506, which is more than 1. That means our product is luxury good. An increase in income is accompanied by a proportionally larger increase in quantity demanded. The importance of this elasticity that we derive, we should already know who is our main target, which is high income people, as frozen fruit pie tend to be purchased a lot more as income rises. Third, cross elasticity. In the previous question, we already calculate the cross elasticity, which is 0.0469, and this value is more than 0. It means it is a substitute good. What can we interpret from this value? As the price of one good rises, the demand for the substitute good increases. Based on this interpretation, we should offer more affordable price than our competitors to increase the demand of our product. Lastly, advertising elasticity. So the value of the advertising elasticity that we get from previous question is 0.000479, which is more than 0. That means it is positive in relationship. What we can interpret is an increase in advertising leads to an increase in demand for frozen fruit pie. This is important so that we know that we should spending more on advertising to increase the demand of frozen fruit pie. Last question 9D, that asks us to forecast the range of demand for our product. So our y hat is equal to 29205.4225 by substitute the value of Px, A, Py, M and N into the demand curve. And based on regression statistic in question 4, our SEE is 1958.494582. To calculate forecast of y, the formula is y hat plus minus 2 times SEE. 29205.4225 plus 2 times 1958.494582 equal to 33122.417, and 29205.4225 minus 2 times 1958.494582 is 25288.433. So the 95% confident interval estimate forecast of y is 25288.433 and 33122.417. We are 95% confident that the value of y will lie between 25288.433 and 33122.417. When the price equal to 5 ringgit 50 cent, demand can be expected between 25288.433 and 33122.417. Since the quantity sold from first row of our database is 27,500, the actual demand is within the expected range. With that, I end our presentation with thank you and Assalamualaikum.